You live?
Yep.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Facebook.
Hi, Facebook.
Hello. Okay.
They can't
cool.
see you.
Yeah, I'm coming in. I'm coming in.
Okay.
Don't worry. Oh, my sweet tea elixir.
Oh, there we go.
Rebecca,
Episode
would you like to try one?
Absolutely.
Okay.
31.
31. This is it.
Pop them on the
Never
air.
has
now.
me. Yep. Are you?
Yeah, we pop them.
Chad, you want one?
Sure.
Let's
Well,
see.
thanks.
We pop them on the air. So
Okay.
we have a little.
Old.
Here, I just gave him this.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Thank you, Blair.
No
I
problem.
recognize these from the My Body Expo.
Yeah.
I
I was
didn't
there.
have, yeah,
That's a juice.
yeah,
To
just
you?
you. Fantastic place. I didn't have a chance to try
You
one.
were doing your.
I was treating people like the whole time.
I remember you. In
Yeah.
the corner.
I remember you now.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Now I remember you.
Absolutely.
little.
I thought you looked. Oh, when I saw you, I thought it was from the video though that I recognized.
I don't think we were formally introduced that day.
No, I
No,
don't
it
think
was
so.
more like,
You were busy.
There's a lot of amazing people here.
Yeah, you were busy.
Yeah, that happens at events.
Yeah, I was there with Travis and Liz.
Yes.
Yeah.
I met them.
Yeah.
I met Liz.
I think you met me too, actually.
I might have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I think so.
There were a lot of people
Right.
moving around.
So,
We're good. I'm good.
we good?
Good.
Let's rock and roll. And when you talk in the mic, make sure you're right up on it. It's on the side, not
Yeah,
top.
right there. Here, you want
Right here.
Yeah, keep it
to right into
tilted.
it?
This,
Just stay
this
close,
There you go.
like you're singing a song.
good? Sounds good.
There you go, right here. There we go.
You guys don't get to hear the super cool music, but I get to hear it.
Where?
Okay. Oh, you just maybe not as
Slow
clearly.
I've heard it 31 times.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Epic Love Radio Show. We are so excited to be here this evening. We have a great in-studio guest, which we just absolutely love. So let's go ahead and get started, get everybody introduced. And so I have to my far left down here, it's my dad, David Allen.
Hi.
Hi, Dad.
How are you guys?
And my guest over here on the left is, would you like to be called Rebecca or Rebecca?
Rebecca.
Rebecca Kallaus. Did I pronounce that right?
You did. Amazing.
Amazing. And I'm Blair McKnight. And then we also have the sound man, the Chad.
Hello, epic lovers.
So like I said, we have a fantastic, exciting show this evening. And we've got a lot going on in the Piper's Angels world, too.
Yes, we do.
So let's get right to it. First, I want to thank our sponsors, Piper's Angels Foundation, obviously, Palm Beach Sports Club, Endless Summer Rum, and Tea Elixir.
Tea elixir.
You guys ready to pop them?
Let's do it.
Let's do
All
it.
right.
1, 2, 3.
I've been waiting for this all day.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
They're ice cold.
I really do. I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, good, right?
Good.
Thank you, Dad, for the tea elixir.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. And yeah, like I said, we've got a lot going on in the world of Piper's Angels right now. So
A lot of love going
a
on.
lot of love going on.
Yeah.
You would notice that.
Yosemite.
Yeah, well, you would notice that we are a little short this evening, and that's because two of our co-hosts decided to get married this past Saturday
Yeah.
in Yosemite, Travis and Liz. So big congratulations to you guys.
Yeah.
Woo! And the pictures
Look beautiful.
are unreal. I'll share some on our Facebook page afterwards because I mean the pictures are just blowing my mind.
Well,
And these aren't even the professional photos we've
beautiful
gotten
out
yet.
there.
Yeah, I haven't been there ever. Have you been there?
Yeah, Yosemite.
Have you been there? Have you been there?
Oh,
No, I
my.
haven't.
The Harley area.
Oh yeah, you drove
Yeah.
through and you did that big trip. Where did you drive again?
Yeah.
From where to where?
Oh, from Denver to Montana. Glacier National Park.
Really cool.
2,500 miles in about 12 days.
So
was-
I'm getting
it
a
was
scene
incredible.
here that you like to do road trips.
Yeah, yeah.
This seems to be constant so
I
far.
just got back from St. Louis. Yeah.
Yeah,
I drove.
that's not a short drive.
No, it's not
I
a
would
short
know.
drive.
I've done it
That's
twice.
the last time.
Once
yeah.
each direction, I guess I
Yeah,
should
that's
say.
the last time. That's the last
I
time.
feel like you said that last time you drove there. It was the last time I'm
Yeah.
driving.
Yeah, I know.
You like
Make a note.
bringing
Make
the
a note
dog.
this time.
Yeah, you like
Yeah, I
taking the
do.
dog.
Yeah, I do. It was nice. He likes it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
awesome. I can't wait to go there. It looks just absolutely beautiful.
Oh,
So again,
Yosemite's awesome.
congrats to you guys. We're having a big celebration party this Saturday when they get back. So everybody's looking forward
Next
to that.
Saturday.
Is it next Saturday? Oh, it is next Saturday. I
November the
apologize.
3rd.
November 3rd.
Yes.
You're right. You're right. And I
Yes.
saw the venue for that. It's really beautiful. So we're all looking forward to that, guys.
That's going to be fun.
And also, we have an event coming up November 16th. It's in Mackle Park in Marco Island, Florida. And they're going to be screening the Epic Love
Right.
documentary.
Yeah.
Again, and I don't know if you've seen it, but Rebecca, I might need to share it with you. But it is the 2018 Crossing for a Cure documentary.
Okay.
And they've got drones out there. It's really, really beautiful,
Yeah, it's
touching.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Great documentary. So
But Josh is setting that up.
yeah,
Marco Island.
yeah.
Josh Ferris.
Yeah, so they're gonna stream that, the Epic Love documentary, and then following that is gonna be Wonder.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know, but that movie looks really
That's a
cute.
great
I haven't
idea.
seen
I
it
did
yet.
see it.
Did
It
you?
was really good.
Is it good? Okay. Well, yeah. So we'll all be there. So please come join us. Support Crossing for a Cure and Piper's Angels Foundation on November 16th at 4:30 p.m. Mackle Park.
You're going?
I will probably be there. I want to see that Wonder movie.
Well, yeah, let's go.
Well, I want to see the documentary too. I've
I'll
already seen that a few times. But anyways, yeah. So I will be there. Yes.
All right, good.
And then another thing I wanted to mention, and this is just because, Dad, I don't know if you saw this, is one of our previous guests on the show, Tiffany Eichhoff, was a huge super fan of Keith Urban. Has been to his
Yes.
show like 27 times or something,
Yeah.
just ridiculous, like travels to see him.
She told us that story about when she met him, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, this reminded me of her when I saw this, and I just shared it before we got on the air on the Facebook page, and it is Keith Urban, a video, and he is granting a wish to one of his super fans that is unfortunately dying, and he's bedside with her.
Alright.
Yeah, so she bought tickets. This is in Toledo, Ohio. Bought tickets to his concert. Couldn't go because she got so sick and was in hospice. And he went and sang to her at the bedside
Oh,
as her dying wish. And it is
he
such
seems like, yeah,
a
such a
touching
good guy.
video.
He really does.
Yeah, he seems like
You
a
can
great
tell.
guy.
You
So.
can tell with people, you know.
Yeah, you can.
He's-
You
yeah.
can tell in the video.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
really
he's
can.
real.
Yeah, so I shared that
Absolutely.
on the Facebook page right before the show because I could not help but think about Tiffany when I saw that, and I figured she would like
Yeah,
that.
that's
So
cool. That's
yeah.
cool.
cool. So anyways, besides that, we have a extremely exciting guest here today who
I
we
know.
found
I'm
out
excited.
something exciting
I'm
about.
excited about it.
So I've been texting back and forth with Rebecca, and she's texted me this afternoon. She's like, "Wait, I just realized that you have a 314 area code and your
I
phone
have
number."
one of those.
And she's like, "I have one of those." Where she goes, "I have to ask because this is like the
St. Louis question.
typical age-old question in St. Louis, Missouri. Where did you go to high school? Because it's such a small city and everybody knows where everything is."
Right.
So we discovered that we both grew up in St. Louis, and she went to Ladue. I went to Oakville, so we were very, very close.
What happened? We lose our video?
I think we lost our video.
Nope.
Nope.
Reload it. Nope,
There it
we're
is.
good?
There it is.
Okay. I think we're good. And we're back.
We're back. Hey, Paul. Got your text.
What'd he say?
Come on over.
Is he coming over?
I don't know.
Come on over, Paul.
funny.
Anyways, here we are. We're back. Sorry about that, guys. So, anyways, like I was saying, we all grew up in St. Louis. So this is like a St. Louis show today
I love it.
in Florida. I
You
love
didn't
it
go to the
too.
zoo, did you?
Not.
Okay,
Did
just
you?
checking. Am I see?
We would have had too much in common.
I know.
The zoo as well.
I went to Springfield,
Okay.
Missouri State.
Yeah.
Okay.
Used to be Southwest Missouri State, but they changed it. Yeah, you guys wouldn't know that.
No, we wouldn't.
You're
Too young.
young.
Too young.
Yeah.
Even though you're younger than me.
Shh. Don't tell people
Oh, sorry.
that.
made it very well known that I'm my age on here. So anyways, Paul's on now. Hi, Paul.
Paul Smolchek.
Paul Smolchek. All right,
One of my main
guys.
guys.
So let's get into this with Rebecca, because like I said, we're really excited to have her because she is doing some amazing things in healthcare and pain management. She sent me over some videos before the show to just kind of give me a taste and an idea of what she does. So she is the CEO and founder of Elevated Health. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Elevated Health first?
Sure. So I created the holistic healthcare company Elevated Health to empower people in regards to the health by providing tools and education for everything that supports natural healing that people can use from the comfort of their own home. So the primary thing that I work with is an amazing technology called chromotherapy, which stimulates natural healing in the most efficient, effective way possible.
Cool. So it's light therapy, is that right?
So yes and more.
Okay.
So laser therapy is the primary modality. So that's been used for over 50 years in modern medicine. So this was very established. However, why this is so effective is because it also combines magnets, low-level ultrasound, and full spectrum LED all in the same device.
All in this little
that
thing?
device.
Wow.
I've heard about the infrared.
Yes. So laser therapy, cold laser,
Gotcha.
there's a lot of different terms. They all kind of
Right.
fall under the same umbrella.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Very
Right.
cool.
That is cool.
So that is the smaller version, right? And there's a larger one as well.
These two. Wow. Yep, that's it. So
Right.
for those of you on Facebook, you can see what we're
Unbelievable.
talking about.
So how did you get into
Yeah.
because you at one time were you already working at a wellness center and
Yes.
we kind of discovered this? Okay, tell us about that.
Yes. So I've always been interested in all aspects of health, specifically holistic health. But prior to having my own company, I was the VP of a wellness center,
Oh, wow.
and they started using this therapy right before I got on board with them.
Okay.
So I just got to see the most amazing recovery stories, and I was like, you can use this from home. So I developed a rapport with the manufacturing company, and I've had my company for a little under 2 years now, and I'm the only full-time distributor in the United States.
That's what
Wow.
I heard.
Yeah.
How
That's it.
fantastic. So you saw an opportunity and you were like, I got to do this.
I prior, like when I was growing up, I wanted to have a brick and mortar place that combined a whole bunch of different holistic health modalities all in one location with a couple other tricks combined.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like a minimum of a $10 million grant just to get started.
Right.
And then I found this therapy and I was like, this helps with basically everything. I can start that now and help so many more people without
Yeah,
a $10
that's
million grant. Yes.
Wow. Well, kudos to you for taking that risk and seeing a need in people and running with it.
Well,
I mean, that's
Yourself
Beautiful.
too, right?
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
scoliosis.
I still have scoliosis.
Does that go away or
Um,
tell me
so,
much about
so scoliosis is a curvature of the spine.
Okay.
So for me, for those of you who know what that means, it's a 24-degree lower left lumbar curve. It basically means that my standing up straight means I'm kind of like this.
Okay.
So I kind of have to like overcompensate sometimes. I take pictures, sometimes in pictures I'm like leaning over like this. I'm like, oh, that's not as straight as I thought it was. But so what that means is when your spine is curved, your spine is the core of your physical existence.
Absolutely.
And so when that's out of balance, it's pulling everything in the wrong direction.
Right.
So it can cause a whole myriad of issues throughout the body. So for me, it caused 24/7 neck and shoulder pain for about 15 years. So that's pretty typical. Normally it was pretty moderate.
Right.
It was only a couple of days out of the year that it would be just really debilitating.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also had a shoulder issue from volleyball, but now understanding what I do about the body, I'm assuming it's logical that the scoliosis probably had an impact as to why I developed the shoulder issues in the first place. I mean, that's theory, but it doesn't matter in the long run.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Muscles pull
Yes.
different directions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When I used to do, I'm a cycling, running and that, I used to get imbalanced, and then you can feel it. You're off, and then it pulls your, hip down
Mhm.
or your knee, and it causes a lot of pain, and I've been there
Yeah.
with that before. Yeah.
So this is personal to you then, Rebecca. This is something.
People ask me that all the time. They're like, so do you use this on yourself? And
Mm-hmm.
it's really, like, I try to be as as balanced when I answer that, but in my head, I'm like, I have no idea. So for the first thing that I addressed with this personally was my shoulder issue. I played collegiate volleyball, and I had to stop playing for about 2.5 years because of my shoulder. It was, I never actually got an MRI, but it was one of those things where I'd had pain for a long time, and it got to a point where I was like, if I keep swinging, something's going to snap. I can feel it. Nothing worked. Physical therapy, chiropractor, just resting was a joke. But I mean, nothing made much of an impact at all. And then I started working at this wellness center, and then people are like, okay, when you fix your shoulder, you treat it every day, right? And I'm like, no, no, I really didn't. It was really sporadic. I was really focused on working more than treating myself. So I'd just treat anytime I had a few minutes. Sometimes I go 2 weeks even without treating at all. Then, sometimes I might treat 3-4 times in a week. And then a little period of time went by, and someone asked me to play volleyball, and I hadn't thought about it. And I was like, I haven't had some pain in a while. Let me give it a shot. No pain. That was 2.5 years ago.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is incredible. And I'm sure people are skeptical too, because I don't know if you guys, obviously, if you're listening, you can't see, but the people on Facebook Live, like, these are like, it's literally like this little, it's these things.
Like a clicker.
The small one, it looks like a computer mouse. Yeah, small. The bottom tiered one is smaller than a cell phone. The other one, this one does have a cord and a portable battery. But this one is literally the most effective home health device in the world. There's no other home device that can even hold a candle to it. The best comparison is really a professional grade laser therapy device. Wow. Typically, physical therapy clinics often they work with class 3 or class 4 lasers. There's a class 4 laser that's kind of touted as the best. That one's $45,000. This one ties or outperforms it in every category.
Wow. So this one's more powerful than the palm.
This one
size.
is literally the best. This one still packs the bottom tiered one, for those of you who aren't watching, the Coma Palm. This one still packs more of a punch than anything you're going to find under a couple grand. It's definitely, it's definitely an amazing piece of technology, but this one's about 8 times more effective. Wow. Yeah. And more efficient delivery.
I like that.
So
8 times more.
So how satisfying is it when someone's a skeptic and then?
Oh, they're my favorite. Like, bring it on.
Yeah. And then they find the relief that they want.
If you can fix this, I'll be like.
Yeah, that's. For you described before we went on the air, that just some tightness from your long drives, maybe some nerve issues.
Yeah, some nerve issues.
Yeah.
My hand. My hip.
So my dad was
58 years old.
He was extremely.
There's no age limit.
Beat my body
Yeah.
when I was younger.
He was extremely excited when Rebecca was coming. Because and then he starts telling me about all this pain he has. I'm like, I don't think we have more than 50 minutes for you.
Chad goes, I think that's a hint.
Yeah, he's got hip, he's got head, he's got all this stuff going on. I'm like,
I can start treating you anytime. Yeah, we can. I can treat while I talk.
I'm okay,
a full body machine.
That drive. Yeah, that drive. Wow. Tore me up.
That's
I
never do it again.
I had a gentleman who sciatica. And he started working with this about a month before he was going to be on a long road trip. And he was like, okay, I'm going to be really religious on treatment. And because normally those drives were just killer for him. But he was able to make it with 1 month of treatment after years of sciatica. He made it just fine. I wouldn't say no pain, but a very, very significant difference.
It's incredible.
Oh, so talk about what it does.
Sure.
Actually.
Sure. So one of the questions that I get from people are, they're like, okay, so how do you know which modalities to use? How do you know what do you use, the laser, the magnets? So they're all working simultaneously.
Okay.
So why this is so effective is the synergy of those 4 modalities. Okay. So COMA actually stands for coherent multi-radiance.
Okay.
So that's another just FYI. So because the magic is really in them all working together.
Gotcha.
So what this is doing on a cellular level is it's significantly increasing ATP production, which is the fuel molecule of every living cell. Okay, so every living cell in humans, animals, even plants all require ATP.
Okay.
So when you're increasing the production of ATP, it's regenerating and rejuvenating every different type of cell in the body. Okay, so it's accelerating every natural mechanism that the body's capable of, basically giving the body the energy to heal itself in the most efficient way possible.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, very cool.
Does that have to do with stress and that aspect of it? The chemical in that's involved with stress.
So
adrenals and
yeah, okay, so I love So the body has the ability to. This is an important concept.
I can't.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
trying.
No, I know what you're,
Yeah,
I think I know what you're saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. So one of the really important things for people to understand why this is so effective is the realization that the body has the ability to heal itself.
Yes.
Okay, so we're just made up of trillions of cells all communicating infinitely together in every moment.
That's what I'm trying to say.
So, then people are like, well, why are we sick then if the body can heal itself? Well, why that's not always the case is because, especially in today's day and age, we're just bombarded with toxins from the food we eat, the air we breathe, the water we drink, things that we touch, cell phones. All of these things are bombarding our bodies and disrupting the coherency of the cells. Coherency is a big thing. We're probably not going to get into that today, but that's a really important word.
Yeah.
And also stress has a big impact on the body as well. So the thoughts that you say to yourself in your head actually manifest physically in the body.
Yep.
So this therapy is basically, so all of those things that we just mentioned, they're disrupting the body's ability to heal itself. This therapy is basically giving the body the energy it needs to do as it's naturally designed to do. So that's why people are like, okay, well, is it doing this? It's decreasing inflammation. It's, blood flow, all this stuff. Kind of. That's why you really have to explain it in that broad sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's just giving the body the energy to heal itself.
Mm-hmm.
This therapy, why it's so effective, is it's not manually manipulating anything in the body.
Right.
It's just giving the body the energy to do what it's designed to do.
Very cool. It's unbelievable.
Cool.
That something like that can happen. Once we get to you, I guess healing him, we'll see.
Should we
See how we go.
That's why I'm here, actually. I was going to stay home this evening.
Well, if you want to get started, that's fine.
Yeah.
If I can still ask you questions.
Oh, by all means, yes. So,
Okay, cool.
You know what? Should we
Want me to switch?
switch places? Yeah, actually, that might work out.
Yeah, we'll dance around here.
We're going to see if we can de-age my father.
Hey.
So that is one thing that I tell people that I've had people where they're like, okay, so let's say theoretically this helps my knee pain, like you say.
Mm-hmm.
Then what? What do I do with it? Just gonna sit on the shelf?
Right.
No, and preferably not.
Keep using it, please.
Or people are like, okay, well, nothing hurts. Okay, so this is it for me. I'm like, okay, well, would you like to stay that way? Anyone who buys the device,
Nothing hurts.
Yeah. I know anyone who says that, I'm like, I think you're lying, but that's okay.
So you can do preventative
absolutely
things, you're saying. Okay, so what kind of preventative work would you suggest?
Sure. So you can treat different systems in the
Uh-huh.
body. Okay, so there's different immune points that you can do, boost the immune system, endocrine system, balance the hormones, your central nervous system. All of these different things you can work with from a preventative standpoint. Also treating the spine. I always tell people to treat their spine as much as possible. It can just stave off so many issues with age if it's addressed from a preventative stance.
Wow. How cool.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
This book you gave me, where it talks about holy cow.
So he's looking at
Yes.
a
Arthritis.
osteoarthritis is on the easier end. Anything autoimmune related, so rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, anything autoimmune is going to be longer treatment time.
Bronchitis.
Yep.
Your
Wow.
brain.
Very cool. So
Yeah.
we've got some people that paddle every year.
It's like right.
Okay, so I'm also one of the reasons why this is so effective is because you always want to treat everything that could possibly be contributing to the issue.
Okay.
So when people are like, okay, no, it hurts over here. Like, okay, I understand that. I might concentrate treatment directly over where you're experiencing pain,
Okay.
but I'm still going to address the whole area just because you never know. For example, it's right next to your spine, so I'm still going to do some points near your spine just because we never know how much is contributed to that. It might not be, some things might be more referred pain, you never know.
Go.
He
The
wants,
more the better.
he wants the full body treatment, so I'll open up.
Right. A machine
I don't think
that I can get into.
Yeah, I get that a lot too. People are
Like
like,
a
so is there like
tanning
a
bed?
tanning bed?
that's
It's not the first time I've heard that. And so one of the things people look at this and they're like, okay, this little thing how is this really that effective? Okay,
Yeah,
this
and I
practice-
can't feel anything.
most of the time you don't feel
Right.
anything. I say that it's about 20% of the time that someone feels something after one treatment.
Mhm.
That's about it.
with people that I treat personally, it's more like 80%, but that's still not 100.
Right.
So, and no one's ever cured after one treatment. And for the record, I never use the word cure. I can't legally, and even if I could, I wouldn't, because the
Right.
worst thing you could ever do is give someone false hope.
Right. And that would be like a miracle work if something could
You just, I
work
mean,
in
it's
one treatment.
using, yeah, oh no, I don't. Now, the only exception I will say to that is mild tendonitis. I've had a few different cases where they only needed one treatment.
Wow.
So two of my favorite stories in that regard, I had somebody who this was actually a friend of mine, had an inflamed IT band it runs on the side, outside of your leg.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an acute injury. He just heard it a couple weeks prior,
Mm-hmm.
but it was severe to the point where he was limping. So he's limping up the stairs to my apartment, and he sits down, and I give him about 18 minutes of treatment, and he stands up, and he's like tentatively puts pressure on his leg, and then he starts kind of stomping on it, and then he starts dancing a little jig, and he's like, okay, so
I'm not doing that. Right?
well, he's your back. We want to see
a jig dance after this.
But he goes, you're my friend, so I was going to boost your ego, but I literally have no pain right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was last year, October. He still had no pain since.
A year ago. Wow.
Yeah. So, but that, it was just a couple weeks.
Right.
So, it was hurting him a lot, but it was a recent injury.
Sure.
So that's the thing, is that anytime someone gets an injury, you want to get this on as soon as possible.
Mhm.
This is chronic for me. I mean,
Yeah.
it's constant.
The longer you wait, the longer it's going to take to address.
Sure.
But it's there's never a wrong time to use this
Right.
therapy.
So would this be like, for example, on the lighter scale of things, for like athletes after a game, like could this be used to treat, muscle soreness, or if they
Even before.
pull something, or before a game?
Before and after
Okay.
would be most ideal, especially for serious athletes who really want to maximize their performance.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to treat before, so then you can make sure everything blood flow is solid up to par, and then afterwards to decrease muscle soreness. So this can cut the recovery time of anything in half or more. With athletes, it could be a lot more than half, but that includes recovery from a workout. So there's studies that support that laser therapy increases muscle mass. It's not actually increasing muscle mass. What it's doing is it's decreasing the recovery time. So you don't want to work out. You don't want to do a full workout and then 4 hours later do the same workout again.
Right.
You have to wait for the muscles to recover.
Right.
But if you're cutting that recovery time in half, well, you can do more faster.
Sure. Right.
Right.
And the reason I'm asking that too is because we were talking about this before we went on the air. So we have a event, Crossing for Cure, that we do every year, and people paddleboard 80 miles from the Bahamas to Florida. And, yes.
Yeah, I know. It's
And there's a lot of training and a lot that, obviously aches and pains that go into this. So something like this would be beneficial, right?
Absolutely. So I know some people who they've had this device for a while, and they run long races, and they just went out of town for one race. What was that?
He
I
wants to
wanna
say
say
something. I can
this.
tell. I
It's-
can tell when he wants to say something.
it's working.
Is it really?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
It is.
Never gets old.
I bet. It's so
My
it
new
has to be
best
so
friend.
satisfying.
Yeah. Can you tell her, Steve?
We hang out.
Well, so this is why everyone should have one at home.
Absolutely. If it's really
It is.
doing that for you, Dad,
Yeah.
maybe we need to invest in that. So good to know for the crossing, because I mean,
Absolutely.
we have
Yeah.
a lot of people, and we even have Heidi just joined in. We have a crossing member that's down right now because she has a knee injury and she's not able
Yeah.
to
So-
paddle.
That's what I was gonna say. Was I don't know what
Is
happened.
it a knee or ankle?
No, it's her knee.
No, it's your knee.
Yeah.
I know some people who run long races, and they just went out of town for a big one the other week, and they have a device, and so they brought it with them, as always the smart thing to do. And the wife, she fell and sprained her ankle. They got it on her immediately, and so the swelling and the bruising went away within hours.
Wow.
So she was. I also have a volleyball player who he sprained his ankle, and he came to me for treatment a couple of days afterwards. Are we down again?
No, it's gonna be okay.
Okay. But so again, after an injury, it's always working.
Are we back?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay, now we're back. Wow.
One of the most common
No,
sensations is like people feel like a looseness. Like
Yeah.
things are just kind of
I feel-
looser.
I feel like I'm 54 now instead of 58. It keeps going down.
Going down a year.
It's
I have a
only a few
question.
minutes of treatments.
You have a question, Chad?
How does the actual beam work on the muscles or the tissues or whatever
Sure.
it's healing?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So laser therapy is the primary modality. It's actually now been found that every cell in the body has photon receptors.
Alright.
So that means they respond to certain frequencies of light.
All right.
So this is, for those who know this field, 905 nanometers is the nanometer of the laser. But there's also 3 different frequencies of LED. LED only operate on a superficial level, so they don't penetrate very deep into the body. So an LED, the difference between LED and a laser on a nutshell level is LED, the light disperses. So for example, like a light bulb or the sun, okay, that light disperses. Whereas a laser,
Direct.
it has the same diameter all the way through. Okay, so the laser is able to penetrate deeper into the body. Specifically, this frequency penetrates deeper than others. And so, but then also why this is so effective is the combination of magnets, specifically more than anything else. In the 70s, the Russians figured out that when you combine magnets with laser, it makes it exponentially more effective. So more efficient delivery into the body,
Really?
also deeper. That was in the 70s, but it was during the Cold War, so those studies still haven't been translated. So a lot of people who work with lasers still don't know that. Mill therapy is what it's called, magnetic infrared laser. Mill therapy has been used as pretty much standard practice, and I believe all medical facilities in Russia, most if not all, since 1989.
Wow.
It's literally like old. So in the U.S., it's still considered a novel.
I'm telling you,
So when
it's amazing. Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
I'm not even done. I was still going to do another
Chad, you wanna
couple
go
minutes.
I want to see the jig.
Keep going.
Dancing is not required
Break
post-treatment.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
But yeah, so mill therapy is still considered a novel, even laser, I think, to some degree, even though it's been used. There's literally thousands and thousands of studies supporting its efficacy. But yeah, and we're a little slow.
So you said before you're the only company that is retailing this.
Distributor.
So I'm the only full-time distributor. So it doesn't mean that I technically have U.S. rights at the moment. So I'm not
Right.
the only person that sells this device in
Right.
the country. However, I'm the only person that does this full-time. So for example, there are other clinics that utilize this therapy, and they might sell one, here and there. But I'm the only one who this is literally all I do.
Do you specifically just sell it to people at home, or do you also sell it to people, clinics, medical offices, wherever?
Absolutely both. So I
Cool.
love working with individuals just because, I love these reactions never get old.
Yeah, I know.
I had somebody yesterday, or no, 2 days ago, and he's a boxer, and his knuckles are always really swollen.
Oh, man.
And he sold me a car. I fixed his hand. It was a good deal.
Great deal.
Right?
Do you use? Yeah. Now you got me thinking. Do you use this to get deals on things that were like, hey, you got something that hurts? Let me.
I mean, if there's something
That's
that I
a
need, I'm open to a barter, but
Take this out to the bar.
hey. So I do use it on a plane. It checks on a plane. I've taken
Really?
probably 20 different planes. I use it. I've met multiple people. That was the other story.
You told a
Short
story, yeah.
That was the other story I was going to
You
say.
told a story
I
about
have two great plane stories.
about the plane. Yeah.
Okay, good. Tell them. Well, I'm not sure which one did I tell, the knee or the golfers?
The knee,
The knee? Okay.
the left knee, and then the right.
Yeah. So the knee story was,
It's a soldier,
things
right?
seem to,
Yeah.
these things seem to happen in October. October is a good month. But this was 2 years ago, and I was on a very long flight from Honolulu to LA, 6-hour flight.
Yeah.
Guy I'm sitting next to, he was 24 at the time in the Army, and he told me that, we got to talking, he told me that he has some knee pain in both of his knees, and every time he gets on a plane, his legs swell up.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
painful.
yeah. That's right.
So I was like, oh, well, I have this thing. I'm happy to give you treatment, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, sure. So I treated his one knee. Like I said, I'm used to these
Like,
reactions.
I'm stuck on this plane. I might as well humor this lady.
6 hours next to this crazy girl. Okay. So I treated his one knee. Like 15 minutes go by, and he's like, okay, so I'm not gonna lie, thought you were a little crazy. I have no pain in my left knee. Can we do the right?
Yeah.
So I walk him through on how to treat the right knee. And he actually was on his way to rigorous Army training and has been on multiple flights since, and had no pain for 10 months. And last time I heard from him, it hadn't been as severe since prior to that, literally one treatment.
Just from that one treatment.
But again, so there's a major positive correlation between how often someone works out in the gym and how fast they respond. So I say that it can cut the recovery time in half. That goes for almost everybody, someone who's 90 has never worked out a day in their life, and they have like multiple autoimmune conditions, something like that.
Right.
And that might be a little
That's an
under half.
exception.
Yeah. So that would be all the way this end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum, I have a good friend of mine is a personal trainer, and he hurt his rotator cuff before I knew him, and it was a 5-month recovery. He did the same thing a couple years ago. I gave him 2 20-minute treatments, and he was lifting 100% in less than 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So he's 34.
Yeah,
He works
it is.
out
I mean, it's-
like multiple times a day sometimes. So that's kind of the range. But so this
Yeah.
this gentleman with the knee on the plane, he's 24 in the Army. He's in great shape. So he's going to respond really quickly. That's not always going to be the case. Like I said, I don't want to give people false expectations.
So is being active and healthy going to accelerate the
Absolutely.
results? Okay.
So it's the kind of thing that the more you're doing to support natural healing, the better you're going to respond. Even if you're not doing anything, you're still going to get a response. It's just going to take a little bit longer. The rule of thumb that I say is everyone should have a response in 3 to 4 weeks. Okay. If you're a major athlete, there's like a 95% chance to respond like in the first couple of days.
Oh.
If you're
We
serious
need to have
athlete.
a tent at the finish for the crossing.
With her in it. Yes.
Yes.
We
and
really do.
Before too.
Do you do stuff like that?
Actually,
I do.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I have a friend that puts on running events, and so I try to show up to those in any chance I can and treat any of the athletes. Most people don't know who I am before the event, and then afterwards everyone's limping, so they're like, hey, would you like some help with it? So it's a little easier of a conversation after the race.
Yeah.
But, I can always treat before and after. I am going to be at Wadapalooza, I can't remember which one, on November the 3rd. Or whatever that, I think it's that Saturday.
Not that Saturday,
Yeah,
but next Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
So
not serious,
there's a
but-
huge event then, and teaming up with a mobile cryo facility. So I'm gonna.
Well, I saw
Oh,
you
cool.
for the first time at an event for Amelia,
Yes.
and it was at where was that place?
Juice to you.
Juice to You, yeah,
Yes, the Mind Body Expo.
yeah. And she was walking around and said, "Hey, you hurting? Want to try this?" So
You should have said yes. Why weren't you the first in line?
I was okay with
I
it.
had a line.
I was okay with it.
Yeah.
But God, yeah, I could feel, and this has been around with me since probably I think I hurt my back in like 1995.
Wow.
So it acts up when I drive long distance, and holy cow, it's incredible.
I'm so glad you feel better.
Yeah, I do feel better.
Good.
I really do.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, what do you know? Are there any athletic teams that use this at all? Like,
So professional athletic teams oftentimes are using laser therapy. So like I said, this ties or outperforms a class 4 laser in every category.
Right.
So it's something that the only reason athletic teams aren't using this column specifically is just because they don't know about it. So that's something obviously
That's what you're
I'm
here
working
for.
on changing.
Yeah.
So there is, I do have a A-list NFL player who's been using this for the past month. He had a season-ending injury and has been using it ever since. Can't say his name publicly, but he literally is like showing it off to the whole team. Has
Responding
coaches
well?
Responding very, very well.
Tom
obviously.
Brady, all right.
No, but so it's the kind of thing that certain top-notch athletes, they when they find something that works, they want to keep it hush hush. So
Yeah,
right.
but I
Yeah,
am
absolutely.
working with one NFL player so far, and I just came straight from a big meeting.
Yeah, you had some
Yeah, you had great news you came in
great
with.
news today. Huh?
So we officially closed and signed off on a big world-renowned wellness center, actually, that I am now officially working with. So I haven't had a conversation, so I'm not going to say their name on the radio at the moment, but I am officially working with them as of today. They've been using the therapy for the past month, though, and that's why we signed off on it today, because they call me back and they're like, okay, so this really is unparalleled technology, because they have access to everything, and
Mhm.
they're like, okay, well, how is this really different for this and this and this? I'm like, where should I start?
Yeah, right.
So I think what really did it is they had a guy with stage 4 colon cancer, and he couldn't hold down food, and so they wanted to get one on him immediately. And now he's back home. This was almost a month ago now. So he's
Was it
back.
the same
This device,
machine? Really?
yeah, this specific device they used on him. So he was very shortly after, able to hold down food. I spoke to him. I mean, I'm now working with him directly. He's using it from home now.
Right.
And so he said that, every time they treated him, that he could actually feel it within minutes. It just kind of like his system relaxing and responding well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What you're doing is great.
I love what I do.
I can tell you love what you do. You're so passionate about it. Like I said before, I mean, the bravery it took to go away from your cushy VP job where you're comfortable and you know what I mean, and take a chance on something like this.
It's been one heck of a journey.
So I'm sure it has been it, but I mean,
We'll be a book someday.
you're doing it right, but you're doing a great thing, and you're doing what you believe in, what you're passionate about, and that's all anybody in life can ask
And
for.
it works.
And
works.
and it works. You made a new friend in David Allen.
It's the kind of thing that I had. Oh, this is a fun story. I had an athletic director of a high school who I met with him, and they wanted to purchase it for the school for the athletes, and I treated his knee when I met with him, and I don't know how long he'd had knee pain for. Honestly, it was a little while back, so I don't remember all the specifics as to what he was going through, but it was definitely knee pain, and he didn't even realize that he wasn't, like, his gait was normal at the end of the day. So I was like, hey, you're not limping right now. He's like, oh, huh, I'm not. So then that's when they usually take something like that, be like, oh, maybe I should buy one of these. And then so they went through with it, and the intention was to treat the athletes. And when he gave me a testimonial. I haven't posted it yet. I've had it for a while, just been crazy busy. But in the testimonial, he says that the faculty basically just keep passing it around because we're supposed to be using it on the students, but we do that as much as possible, but we keep stealing it for ourselves.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
So you've had such a great response, it sounds like.
So this is the only thing that I know that everybody responds. There are no exceptions. Everybody who uses it sufficiently, I should say, responds. So that's why with the professional grade, I give a money back guarantee, because there's no reason why anyone should not get a response.
Right.
The Calm Palm, I don't give a guarantee on, just because sometimes that's not enough.
This one?
Yeah, so that still packs a punch, but sometimes it needs a little bit more. But with the Delta Pro, it's literally the most effective home health device in the world.
Right.
Everybody should have a response.
And it's impossible for you to diagnose which one someone needs, you know what I mean?
So that's why I know
that
that they'll have a response with this.
Exactly.
That one might, you probably, but this one definitely.
So talk about exhaustion. How do you?
Sure.
I have a question.
What do you treat with that? No, exhaustion. What do you do to
Okay.
treat exhaustion?
So adrenals, you mentioned adrenals
Yes.
earlier. So adrenal fatigue is something that most people suffer from to some capacity.
Right.
So those of you who don't know, the adrenals, they're located on top of the kidneys. With this therapy, you address it through the back, roughly the middle of the back. And when the biggest thing that impacts your adrenals is stress.
Right.
Okay, mental stress, also physical exhaustion. When you don't sleep enough, it's really taxing on the adrenals. So actually, I have a story of that today. The adrenals are one of my favorite personal things that are pain related. So I had severe adrenal fatigue a few years ago,
Right.
to the point where, so the
I think you
biggest,
said that on the
Probably.
yeah, the one video,
the
right?
biggest sign of adrenal fatigue is that you're really exhausted during the day and you sleep really poorly at night. So it's just this endless cycle where it's just really hard to snap out of. Most people do.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that there's really not much for adrenal fatigue except for healthy lifestyle choices and just cross your fingers and feel better in a few
Right,
months.
right.
With this therapy, it is a night and day difference. So
Where do you treat though? I mean, what do
So
you
it's through the
what
back.
do you do? Oh, through the
yeah,
back.
so it's kind of like your adrenals are roughly like where your elbows hit your body, kind of like the top part of that. In the
Right.
middle of your back, you have one on each side. The left adrenal is actually slightly higher just because of how your organs are situated. So this
Okay.
is, while I'm thinking about this is something that everyone watching and listening can do. If anyone has their phone on them, they can download the open up your app store. In the search bar, you type in COMRA. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have your phone.
Yeah.
You want to download it right now? We can walk you through it.
Mm-hmm.
I left my phone on my chair over there.
I've got mine.
Perfect. Yeah, so open up your app store.
I'm not the guy that you want to do this with.
He's getting ready to get in his car and drive to the app store.
Right at your fingertips, I promise.
Pretty funny.
So, do you know where you're at?
I am
Do you know what it looks like?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That's
Just
it.
checking.
Now he's gonna get aggravated.
Yeah.
Grumble, grumble. Alright, so on the Apple phone, it's gonna be on the bottom right. Yeah, that search
Yeah.
bar.
COMRA.
COMRA space.
Space.
Very important. User guide. Oftentimes it pops right up there. If you
Nice.
download that, make sure to download the actual app. Nope, that's an ad.
This.
So yeah, usually there's ads on the top. I've been through this 1,000 times.
Yes.
So there's a colorful face on it. You're gonna download
That's
that
Touch
guy.
ID for.
So that's only
a
for
long
Apple
time,
phones.
I wanted to touch it right there, and I'm like, that's not working.
Apple phones will require you to sign in. That's an Apple thing. It has nothing to do with the app. You're not being charged. It's
Yeah,
a free app.
Right.
So I'll start
It's
to explain
downloading.
it. Perfect.
I know
Okay,
that.
so back to the adrenals. That made me think of it because I'll show you on here on one of the treatment that shows the adrenals. The left one is higher, and I had somebody like, is that a mistake? No, the left adrenal is
Okay.
slightly higher. Perfect. Yes, that is.
We have
correct.
5 minutes too, so we need.
So back to exhaustion. So any kind of mental or physical stresses are taxing the adrenals, and so that's something that is really important for everybody to treat on a regular basis. But most people have, some moderate level of adrenal fatigue. It's fairly common.
Right.
So I've been
It's
pushing,
life, right?
my little too much for way too long. I don't think I've had an extra 5 minutes in about 3 weeks. So I love what I do. So I'm always doing everything I possibly can, but there's only so many hours in the day.
Sure.
But I definitely push it as much as I can. And so I was absolutely exhausted this afternoon, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna treat my adrenals and I'm good to go. So it's the kind of thing that when your adrenals are really taxed,
Mhm.
usually you actually can feel a bit of a difference, only when it's really, really taxed. So if it's just a slight bit of adrenal
Right.
fatigue, you probably won't feel anything. There's no pain receptors on your adrenals, but it's almost like someone's giving like a life boost
Yeah, right.
through your back.
I like that.
So we have Travis Suit's mother, Gloria. She's on here, and she is very interested in the product. So she
Yeah.
said that to give Travis your phone number. So-
Sure. Do you want me to say it now?
So we can get some. Sure,
Oh.
if you're open to.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
So for anyone listening, the website is myelevatedhealth.com. I think she's going to put it in the comments there. And then phone number to reach me is 561-989-4298.
Perfect.
Yes.
I got it. So I have to ask, and I know obviously you said before that there's nothing is a cure, or cure-all.
I can't legally say that word, but even if I could, I would.
Obviously, we know that, but we work with Piper's Angels Foundation for cystic fibrosis. Are there any benefits to using this device?
So the rule of thumb is with pretty much everything, it can help.
Okay.
Okay, so, I can't make promises as to what degree, what capacity, but so even with really serious things, so something really serious that I can give an example about, completely different than cystic fibrosis, but still can give somebody an example of something really severe is MS.
Mm-hmm.
So MS is a very debilitating autoimmune condition.
Right.
Okay, so it's supposed to continually be degenerative. So there's a case study of a woman with this therapy, and she, before using Calma, she couldn't stand for long enough to do the dishes. For years after using this therapy, and she's on her feet running a clinic for more than 60 hours a week.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
and even with MS, with that severe of a case, she still, I believe the first thing that she felt was she was sleeping better. So that's pretty common. First off, this is inducing a healing mode in the body. It's kind of telling the body that, it's time to heal. So the body's response is, okay, well, let me sleep because that's when we heal.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes feeling tired can be a response. That's kind of like the body's way of saying, okay, I got this. Let me handle it through.
That makes
Right.
sense. Taking your energy.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow.
So
Okay, cool.
that's kind of the general
Alright.
rule of thumb.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, my
That's been
pleasure.
And I appreciate
We'll
you.
get to your hand after the
Don't
show.
go away either. Don't go away either.
Yeah, give me a whole list of things you want
Fire
to
that thing back up, actually. My adrenals.
I love it.
Gonna be here for a while. But no, honestly, thank you so much for being here.
My
This has
pleasure.
been
Yeah, absolutely.
great, eye-opening. I love learning about new stuff like this. I think it's fascinating, and I also love meeting people that take a chance and go after their dreams, which is exactly what you've done. So good for you.
I agree with that.
Congratulations.
Fantastic.
I'm so glad you got great news today and brought that great energy in today as well. So thank you very
Yeah.
much.
It's been really a
And,
pleasure being here.
And I'm telling you, it's amazing.
I'm glad it
I
worked.
really do.
I mean, I'm glad. I wish I had something hurting so I could be as excited right now, but I'm good.
Anything
Oh,
nerve
okay.
damage. I love working with nerve damage because it's stimulating the nerves while you're treating. So that usually has the fastest response. But something like that, where you kind of feel things loosen up is pretty common as
Yeah,
well.
right.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Good stuff. Well,
Thank you very much.
yeah,
Thank you.
myelevatedhealth.com. Get in touch with Rebecca for your pain needs. She's doing a great thing, and we can't wait to see where you go with this and catch back up. I mean, it's just fantastic. So, again, thank you guys for being here this evening. We appreciate you listening, and have a great evening.
That's awesome.
Epic
Thank you.
Love.
Bye.
Bye.